so that long term we can ensure the orderly conduct of business in this House is achieved.
And here it was repeated by the minority leader for and on behalf of the members of the caucus and supported by the majority leader. It's not only words. Before me, they demonstrated and assured me of their total support to me and the deputy speakers to ensure that we have an efficient and an effective functioning parliament in Ghana. So I am satisfied with not just the statement, but also their conduct. And I will proceed to lift the suspension of the 4 members of parliament that I considered were involved in disorderly conduct which amounted to contempt. The rules are very clear, and I did refer to them and stated clearly that because we are in the transitional mood, we've not been able to put committees in place, including that of the Privileges and Immunities Committee. And the standing orders grant me the power and authority to do what I did. And clearly, the jurisprudence are very clear that when contempt is committed in facie curia, you don't proceed to set up another committee or court or whatever to investigate and submit a report.
My colleague Eric Mowenegbeta, who is in Parliament, joining us with updates on all this important committee hearing that is public, so that those of you and those of us who are interested would want to make input, want to know exactly what is going on. Eric, thanks for joining us on the show. Talk to us. Has hearings begun?
Crosby, hearings are yet to begin at this particular point in time. The conference room where hearings are expected to be public is being readied still. We're seeing a lot more in terms of sound checks and the likes. The committee chair, Emmanuel Bedra, has come around and stepped out briefly as well. Bidzidin has done same. Gisela Tete, who also has been here and left. We're yet to see members of the minority who are part of the committee come into this place at this particular point in time. But in terms of the expectations as to what should happen, there's a TV mounted which I believe would be used to preview videos from the night of Thursday where that chaos erupted during the appointment committee hearing. The expectation as well is that there would be some of these individuals or MPs caught up in the furore which characterized that incident, which resulted in the suspension, and we know that subsequently it's been withdrawn. Some of them will be present. We're yet to officially get word as to which member of parliament will be making his way here with respect to meeting the committee for investigations to start. We know that the committee has begun its work already with a preview of some of the videos that they made categoric when they addressed the media on Monday. They started that yesterday and on Monday as well. And so we're just waiting, really, so we can get a few words from the chair of the committee and then possibly a number of the members present here, and then we can get a sense or an understanding of really how today's proceedings is going to be like, and bring the details as and when it becomes necessary.
Right, Eric, beyond the media, do we find people who genuinely have interest in the hearings there?
None thus far, with respect to, the public sentiment which characterized the event from there. We know that there was a lot of anger from a cross-section of Ghanaians, and they were asking for stiffer, harsher punishments, and were pleased with the Speaker's decision to suspend them, asked the Clerk of Parliament to write to the police to investigate, amongst many other things, said that members found culpable were going to be surcharged and made to pay for the damaged property. That has excited a lot of people, Ghanaians to be specific, who were watching, but none have made their way here so far with respect to wanting to see for themselves what really is going to happen. Perhaps one of the reasons we could easily ascribe to that is that we at Media General will be carrying that live, and so that then more often than not seeks to provide a bit more in terms of being able to watch from your comfort of your homes. But so far, it's just us media persons who are here, and then the chair, and then a number of the other members who've made their way here, who are present, who are waiting to see other colleagues, even from other media houses, also make their way here for proceedings to start.
Eric, pleasure talking to you. Eric Mawenegbeta is my colleague who joined us in Parliament, updating us on the special committee that has been set up or was set up by the Speaker in relation to the vetting chaos. They are beginning their work, and today they are holding a public hearing. Stay with us here on 3FM and all the Media General platforms. Will be bringing you live updates from this public hearing of the special committee chaired by Emmanuel Bedra, who is a member of Parliament for Whole West. We're still staying in Parliament. This time we're speaking with a political analyst, Dr. Samuel Afriye. He's joining us, and this is what we're talking about. So far, the leadership of Parliament, the minority leader has apologized to the Speaker. The majority leader has also corroborated that apology. Hence, the Speaker of Parliament has lifted the ban on the suspended MPs. Was this what has been expected all this while when the Speaker announced their suspension? Let's speak with the political analyst, Dr. Samuel Afriye, on the back of this. Doc, good to have you on the line. Talk to us. The suspension has been lifted. Are we getting a sense that finally we have an end in sight, and these members of Parliament will, if you like, will begin to act like they should be called?
Yes, thank you, and good morning, Noble, and good morning to your listeners as well. The suspension, I think meeting the leadership in Parliament could have been what could have been, that is considered earlier, before even this pronouncement of suspension will come in. And I think the Speaker needs to be a little bit cautious or be considerate in trying to consult leadership in terms of how certain decisions are being taken. If not, he might be seen as, students say, making some mistakes. Because when you make a decision and later you come to withdraw, at certain levels, there's no need for you to try to make hasty decisions and later come to withdraw that statement. Because if you have consulted the leadership, that is the majority and the minority, these things could not have happened. I believe that this time, the next Parliament Speaker should adopt a different approach in terms of certain decisions so that it can be of helpful to him as a Speaker and also to the House as well. And I think that should be the way out for this part. Because if a process has not been set up, you cannot just suspend. You could have just make some statement, even just to suspend them from appointment committee, set up a committee to investigate as is being done now. And before that decision of suspending 2 weeks sitting in Parliament. That is an unfortunate kind of decision. And I think that because of what people have been saying and experts have been also saying, has led to some of these considerations for the Speaker to also hold on the suspension until these investigations maybe come into fruitful.
Doc, I'd like for you to hold on for me so that I speak with Dr. Frederick Odro. He's a governance expert joining us. Dr. Odro, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Is the apology enough to lift the suspension in the face of, if you like, no indication whatsoever that these acts will not repeat themselves?
See, we need to dissociate the acts committed from the directive given by the Speaker. I am in no way going to condone what happened. It's unacceptable. And if anybody is apologizing, the apology is to whom? To the Ghanaian population or to the Speaker or to the chairman of the appointment committee or who? So the point is that the Speaker erred in law.
Mm-hmm.
And he's erring one time too many. Because it's the same situation that arose when he chose to strip some members of parliament of the MPship, if I can say it that way, without giving them the right to fair hearing. That he is a lawyer and should appreciate that before you take any action, the least you can do is to give the people a fair hearing,
right,
so that they can put their side of the case across. Secondly, there are parliamentary processes. Even as things stand now, I don't think the Speaker has rectified the mistake he made, because he's gone ahead to set up a committee. He's not rescinded his decision on setting up that committee.
Mm-hmm.
The appropriate committee for that is the Privileges Committee. The argument being made is that the Privileges Committee has not been set. Parliament has set the Appointment Committee when it needed to set it up to vet the President's nominees. Why can't the Speaker and leadership of Parliament speed up the process of setting up of the establishing the Privileges Committee so that they can do that way?
Right.
We must at all times allow the rule of law to prevail. And the Speaker, as a major stakeholder in our democracy, should be the first to appreciate that if we do things right, we avoid some of these situations. So I think he's made his error, but he should correct his error.
Dr. Free, in the face of the apology that has been rendered by the leadership from both sides and the Speaker's decision to suspend the suspension, if you like, what happens to the further directives given by the Speaker? And I'm talking about this new committee that is holding public hearings over the chaos that happened in Parliament, as well as the quest to reconstitute the appointment committee. Do you think any of the happenings yesterday will have any bearings on these two things?
Noble, what happened and about the apology of these leadership to Speaker, as my good friend was talking about, to whom and what are they apologizing? Is it on behalf of the four, or what are they apologizing for? That does also need to be looked at, because if a committee has been set up without the committee of privileges, what does it mean? Does it mean that their conclusion will tend to be replacing privileged committee, or what? And that is what we all believe, that the procedures and the standing orders that the Parliament herself has defined should be followed. If not so, and you use your implied kind of responsibility or your implied powers, you may make a lot of errors in your actions and inactions. So I think that the apology, for me, I don't know what went transpire at their meeting for that apology, but I believe that the right procedure and Parliament standing order need to be followed because, Noble, this has been reoccurring and it's giving Parliament a bad image.
Right.
So for you to come out with a hasty kind of decision, you should have considered a lot of things, set up, as my good friend is saying, about the privilege committee. And you could have just set up the privilege committee, give a week or two, they will set up and call these kind of people that are involved. And the standing orders that governs the privilege committee will tend to what? To give these their ruling or judgment on what happened to these people. So I believe that Speaker should be very, very cautious in some of these decisions that he has been taking. Previously, it could have been, and I've been saying that today it might be, let's say, the minority, but if care is not taken, it can also be on the other side, in which mostly, in which he comes from that part of that party. So we should check the powers of Speaker, not Bagbin himself, but the Speaker powers, so that maybe we can review or whatever situation, because Parliament or human institution is an involving one. We could have just add or even review some of these things, add some powers, try to come up with code of conduct for Parliament, MPs. These things could be done. It's something that we all have to work towards that, so that Speaker will not be will try to abuse his implied powers that the Constitution has given to him.
Dr. Freer, thank you so much for your time with us, and I'll pick your last thoughts, Dr. Joe, and this is in relation to the minority, if you like, boycotting the approval process for the last 10 ministerial nominees of the president, John Dramani Mahama. What message does that send, and what impact does it carry? Briefly, sir.
Okay, let's go again. I missed the question.
Right. What I'm asking is, Doc, briefly, the minority boycotted or did not take part in the approval process for some ministerial nominees of Mr. Mahama yesterday. What message does that send, and what impact does that also carry?
Oh, we should just accept it as one of those parliamentary strategies often adopted by minorities. I don't think it's a major problem.
Dr. Joe, thank you so much for your time with us on the program.
The best in the morning is on 92.9.